What's up, fellas? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Nintendo handheld consoles and how they developed over the years and how amazing it is. So, I don't have technically all of them. I don't have like the Game & Watch and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go over what I have and talk about how cool the transitioning is from then to now. So I got a couple of games here that would work, and the first one we're going to start out is the original Game Boy. Came out in 1989, and the thing that here's the cool thing with this thing. This thing has been this thing before the Game & Watch. This thing was the most popular thing people had. Like, I'm sure if you go back to 1991, I say everyone in your entire class probably had this, maybe. At least most of them. And the most popular games were Tetris and Mario Land. And the screen color was a black and gray, white and gray, and there's different shades of gray. And then you got like the adjustable, so you can adjust like the background stuff, so like say you can see it better, the volume, and switch, headphone, etc. And yeah, the game still plays very good to this day. Like you can see it pretty good. You just have to get a good screen. But you can pretty tell that thing works still pretty good. I mean, it looks, there's better games out there, but this thing's pretty good for its age. And this thing was one of the first selling handhelds in a while. And I don't know how many units were sold. I'll have to look it up. But yeah. But the next Game Boy we're gonna do is the Game Boy Pocket. And I'm not gonna play Tetris. I'll play the game. I'll play this game, and I'll show you guys what the difference is between this console and this console. So I'm gonna turn them both on, and basically what the big change is on how small it is, and it says it in pocket, like it fits more better in your pocket. This thing can still be in your pocket too. It just fits better. I'm gonna turn it down here. So this one right here so the sound doesn't really work that great, but you can basically tell that this thing runs still pretty great. Let me get it. Let me get the volume adjust. There you go. And you can tell that this is a lot better. Like you can tell how this changed into this. Like this changed into this, and you can definitely tell how better it is. So yeah, so here's the graphics, how the gameplay works. You can definitely tell that the sound is more similar. And yeah, the build is pretty cool. Here's the back of it. It's pretty old. It came out in 1996, so a good 30 years, 29 years. And next we got on the list is the good old Game Boy Color. And this thing, basically what it sounds like, it has color. And that big thing really was cool. This was one of my brother's consoles, and he said that the first time this thing came out, that thing was like impressive to him. I bet it was too. I mean, when you look into this, comparing to this, or like say if this thing's cool, and then when you go to the games nowadays, you're like, wow, where did Nintendo go? They really done great. So yeah, here's the game. The game doesn't work, so give me a second. Well, I should probably talk about how the cartridge changes too. The cartridge didn't really change much. It just changed a little in sizes. But first I'll tell you what how much the game is. So that's what the original Game Boy looked like. Here's the pocket, and then look at this Game Boy right here, right there. Yeah, you can. This one really works great. This didn't come out as much longer as the Game Boy Pocket. This thing came out 1998, and this thing is pretty good. It has a thing on the side so you can play in dark. So does this thing right here. And yeah, it's just pretty cool how it changed over the years. The next console we're going to do is the Game Boy Advance. And the reason it's called Advance because it has a shoulder button and the games are more wide, and this thing has it has a charger pack with it. I guess you can either do either do batteries or charging cable. And yeah, here's the games, what it looks like, and yeah. Yeah, here's the Game Boy Advance. It is basically the exact same as all these other games, but a little different. So the difference between the Game Boy and this thing is that this thing has better coloring and wide. So like say you can, instead of playing it straight like this, you play like an iPad, basically. Because I think iPads were out at the time. I could be wrong. But yeah, here's how it is. And the best games that were sold at the time for Advance was like Pokemon X, Ruby and Sapphire, and I should tell you what the color was too. The best color games for the color was Super Mario Brothers Deluxe and Pokemon, I think it was Gold and Silver. I think that was the games. And the next one I have is not much different than the Advance. This thing, all it did was it has a backlight screen so you can see it in the dark. Oh, by the way, all these Game Boys are backwards compatibility. So I can play, like say for example, I can play a Game Boy game on a Game Boy Color game, and I can play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games on these two consoles. And but the thing with this thing is this one has backlit screen, so you can either have the screen like this or like this. And the cool thing with the Advance is once you put in an older game, like say if I would stick a Game Boy Pocket game in there and a Game Boy game into the Advance or the SP, it would do different things to it. Like say I can adjust the screen and I can put different colors on it. I didn't do it, but yeah, you can put different colors on it like that. Yeah. But now it's red. And yeah, it's just kind of cool how the Game Boys kind of changed over the years, and it's kind of cool how they just came to this big thing right here, which works still pretty good to this day, to this. There was one more, actually there was two more. There's one that's called the Game Boy Light and the Game Boy Micro. And basically what the Game Boy Light looks like, it looks like this thing, but the size of this. That's basically what it looks like, but it has a backlit screen. And it's basically what it is for the Game Boy. And yeah, and the cartridge has changed over the times. Here's how much they changed. they went to this, and they went to that, and then that. You can definitely tell the difference. And I think I said the entire thing, every single cartridge we got here, I said the coolest cartridge that I made is probably these. Probably because you can look inside them. Like this one, all you see is gray in the game, and all you see is black. And I think it's kind of cool. You can kind of see the inside, while you can see the outside. It's kind of neat. But yeah, I think that's